Okay, round and round we go. I'm moving my mouse. Okay, I'm just gonna sync everything up here. Okay, just gonna jump into my some of my random Hibernaculum archives here for a minute while I talk about mutoids. Now, yeah, so I don't know if anyone's. I just felt it behooved me to kind of speak about this since well, Hibernaculum concerns mutated species and mutated planarian giant worms and stuff like this. Now, in Hibernaculum lore, it's very much as Frank Herbert's animals in Dune are. Essentially, the human race is genetically engineered animals to better fit the purposes of mankind. Now, say you might want, for whatever reason, you might need a giant worm. For the same reason we've decided now that we might need woolly mammoths. So you genetically engineer something just to fit whatever you want. Maybe you want a creature with 10 arms to be able to sort parts in a factory for you. Maybe you want a sniffer dog that's able to fly. So you genetically engineer a sniffer bird dog. I mean, basically, playing with genetics to bypass evolution, the evolutionary mutation process and natural selection, and select things for ourselves. And I think science fiction has pretty much been ahead of the curve on this. I mean, science fiction in general, speculative fiction throughout the Silver Age of sci-fi, Golden Age of sci-fi, have generally said, laboratories filled with mutant freaks are probably a bad thing to set up and create. Creatures themselves are not bad or evil, because a creature or a being cannot in and of itself be evil. But the mad scientist that creates the lab full of monsters, just Alien Resurrection, when Ripley's been spliced between xenomorph and human DNA. And how did they come up with the Ripley xenomorph hybrid? Well, they had a lot of experimentation, and that's fine in science. But science has something called ethics as well, and as you see from a scene later in Alien Resurrection, Ripley finds the quote-unquote experiments that were conducted and carried out in order to come up with the final hybrid form of Ripley. Okay? Now, we've seen this woolly mice mammoth thing pop up. Now, the reasons... now, don't worry, I won't... Hibernaculum isn't about science politics. But I do, of course, have opinions, and I will speak about them at length on my public platforms. So, yeah, this woolly mice thing. Now, I just had a quick look into it, and it seems these geneticists are creating power off. Very good. Are creating woolly mammoth mice in order to that postulated they want to create, bring back or de-extinct the woolly mammoth. Now, first thing actual scientists are saying is, well, let's work on not making more animals extinct instead of bringing back extinct animals that, they couldn't fit into the environment that they became extinct in. What would they eat? That's why they died out. Anyway, those considerations aside, these woolly mammoth mice scientists have said that, well, it might combat climate change to have a bunch of genetically engineered woolly mammoths tamping down snow to slow down the melt of permafrost. Now, if you, just have the vaguest inkling about how these kind of biological systems work, you'll just be guffawing at the idea of genetically engineered beasts tamping down snow to stop ice caps melting. But that aside, forget about that. They're not going to create woolly mammoths. We know that. They're trying to get practice with genetic experimentation to do it for companies that want a product or a result, and they will look to scientists to produce that result. And I think this startup crew is positioning themselves in that manner by something that catches the attention. Oh, woolly mammoths de-extinct. Oh, it's interesting. And cute mice. Oh, they say, quote, they didn't consider the cuteness factor of the mice. I disagree. I think that was a buzz animal created to drum up support for their genetic experimentation, which is really just going to equal boring stuff, changing the genetics of animals to suit whatever product they are enlisted or, paid to create. Now, I don't have a huge problem with this. You can talk about this kind of stuff until the cow comes home. But what I do have a problem with, because I love rats and have kept pet rats a lot in my life as an artist, they make great companions and are wonderful, wonderful little creatures that are vastly misunderstood. They had to create these woolly mice, and that would have meant experimentation. That would have meant experiments that led to dead ends. Now, that's fine on paper, but in the laboratory with genetic samples, we're talking about living creatures. We are talking about dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, or even millions of experiments that have failed. Now, I don't know what this laboratory looked like. I'm not saying you should conjure up an image in your head of the evil scientist lab of mutated experiments gone wrong, the island of Dr. Moron. But I would really, really be interested to see. In fact, I'm going to do a little quick dive now to see if I can find some of the actual data on their failed experiments, because I feel like there is and should be a major ethical consideration and stopgap on anyone just messing around and creating little furry lives to, make money off. I can't help but think they've hurt a lot of creatures to create something cute to sell and make money, and what they're actually going to create down the road isn't going to be cute or nice. The main funding is from many sources, including the CIA. That's a great thought. The CIA is funding, genetic research and experimentation. I mean, I'm not gonna chase the white rabbit down that hole. But I will say that it's a little bit worrying that they're coming out and saying, well, we can solve climate change by creating a de-extincting woolly mammoths that would go around in the Arctic tamping down snow to prevent climate change by squishing the permafrost and somehow eating some vast amount of food source that doesn't exist and hasn't existed for millennia, because that's how they got extinct in the first place. So, that's pretty much my thoughts on the matter. If you just want to play around, or have a romp through the mutant-filled halls of Hibernaculum, and not think or worry about the kind of messed up ethical stuff that's happening in actual fields at the moment, and I don't know. Tune out in the atmosphere and make some friends, maybe, in the Naculum. Not everything's evil, and not everything that looks different or is mutated is inherently nasty. Sometimes things that look nice can be nasty, and I don't know. That's just my 2 cents anyway. Mods, chilling once again in the Naculum. Be seeing you. Peace out.